Lucas, thank you so much for coming on the AIM podcast.
Awesome, man. Thank you for having me, man. I'm really blessed to be here and just grateful for the opportunity, man. I really do appreciate that. I hope we can have a good conversation and break through some barriers and talk about life.
Man, come on, bro. I'm super grateful for it, and so glad we got to do this in person, man. I've been doing this show for over 3 years now, and a lot of these episodes have been recorded over Zoom, but thankfully, getting to do them in person is such a better interaction, and I'm so pumped to hear your story, bro, because you have a really inspiring story.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I'm a little bit nervous and excited to talk about because I've never really touched on my past like that. It's always been kind of something that I held back for myself, I've been in the United States for probably 10 years now, so it's something that it's always on the works, so I've never really shared that with people, but I feel like there's a lot of backstory that people should probably know about. Probably should know about me, obviously.
One of the most interesting things, and one of the things I love the most about podcasts and this style of podcasting is hearing people's real genuine stories. Every single person, no matter who you are, no matter if you're social media, if you're a doctor, if you're a teacher, everyone has a story. And there's so much power in your experiences, so much power in the things that you've gone through, and to be able to come through it and be on the other side of it and to talk about it, there's so much power in that. And I know you have a lot to talk about, so I'm excited to dive into it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's what I'm excited about as well, simply because it's more real to me, because at the end of the day, I didn't rehearse any of this. It's actually my life and my experiences. So I am excited myself I know my story, but I've never talked about it. So I'm excited to hear myself and kind of uncover some things that I've never probably uncovered myself.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Before we dive into it, I want to just quickly say congratulations on hitting 2 million on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
I know it's not all about the numbers, but that should just be a testament of hard work and just your commitment of service to really put out content that's impacting people's lives. And to see that, I'm sure, has got to make you feel good to know that you've really made such a difference and brought joy and inspiration and motivation to now over 2 million people, which is incredible.
Yeah, to touch on that, actually, bro, if I can touch on that.
Absolutely.
To touch on that topic, bro, my post for the 2 million followers this morning, actually, I actually opened up a little bit about what he actually meant to me, and I opened up about something that I didn't even know that I was feeling that way. But what I opened up about, it was just my self-confidence and believing in myself, which was something that I didn't at all. And looking back this morning as I was making those posts and putting things together, I was just bro, this entire time I just went through the motions. And what I was trying to explain to people is just I am a hardworking person at nature, and that's just what I do. I work hard and hustle. But at the end of the day, I've never believed in myself, man. I even actually told people, I was I never believed in myself. I didn't believe I could be here. When I hit 1 million followers, for me, it was just another day, simply because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't know that it was happening to me, but at the same time, I was no, this is not happening to me. You know what I'm saying? So once I hit 1 million followers, people actually comment on my stuff. They're 2 million's coming soon. I play it off. I was man, what are you talking about? No, bro, that's not happening. And 4 months later, 2 million happened. So I feel there's a lesson for everyone in there, and especially for myself, that I feel a lot of people are probably going through the same things, bro. They probably have these blessings happening to them, but simply because they have such a heavy past that they just can't seem to believe in themselves. So yeah, it's good to talk about that, I guess.
Dude, I really appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing that, because like you said, there's so many people that can hear that and be wow, this guy who I look at, I look up to, and he's posting this content, he's doing these things, he's hitting millions of followers, and he still feels these feelings. These are real human feelings. That's awesome you talk about that.
Yeah, very much, man. I feel a lot of people need to hear and understand that, and coming from a different perspective and someone else that they probably look up to, because I do, most of my messages are thank you, inspire me so much, and at the end of the day I feel so grateful for that. But it never, I'm a big believer that you are exposed to so much information, but you are not always ready to actually take in those information. So like different phases of your life, you will take in information different ways. So like a few years ago, I was just not ready at all to take in that information, that I was inspiring and motivating person. And these days, I feel like I'm starting to believe in myself a little bit more, simply because I'm constantly exposed to it. But I feel like a lot of people are out there pushing towards their goals and their dreams, and they probably need to hear that as well, so they probably don't make the same mistake that I did, which was not believing in myself, that I had the potential. Because even though I am in this position right now, I could probably be a lot further, believing in myself a little bit more.
I want people to understand your background. I want them to hear your story. So I want to touch on that. Before we move on to that, I know we will come to the point in this episode where we do dive into like your social media and the inspiration to start and everything. But why you brought this up, just while we're here, how has your belief changed over the course of time, to where you are now? I know you talked about that's something you've kind of struggled with, battled with, and it's something you're probably getting better at. But like, how have you seen that change in your belief in yourself? And like, what does that kind of look like for you now, knowing that you're continuing to grow, you're continuing to hit these milestones, you're continuing to help more and more people? Has that affected the belief in yourself? Has it strengthened that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the limiting beliefs came from my past, which I touched a little bit on my post today, that like I grew up really poor, like really, really poor. I had some nights I didn't have anything to eat, so I had to go like to different like restaurants and ask for like foods that they had like left over. So I feel like growing up having not much, and especially also like with a family that was not present at all, I feel like those are all limiting beliefs, because I kind of grew up knowing for myself that I wasn't a person, I couldn't accomplish that. I came from this place and this is who I am, right? But over time, just knocking on that door over and over to try to become a better version of myself, I feel like it's slowly, it's not there yet, but slowly growing the confidence in myself and the self-belief. But I feel like you really have to put yourself out there. And that's one thing that I'm truly working on, is to like constantly put myself out there. Because your past, like you probably heard before, from ages 0 to 7 is like when you basically like learn everything. So after that, you're basically running on autopilot, right? So from the things that you've learned as a kid. But there's definitely a way of like changing yourself and actually changing your beliefs. So I just feel like you gotta keep knocking on that door, and that's what I'm doing.
It's committing to the process of knowing it's not going to happen overnight. You have to continuously develop that.
Yeah,
100%.
Exactly.
You touched on it a second there, but I really would love for you to just get a chance to share more about your story. Obviously, it's been really fun getting to know you over the past however long it's been. But to hear in private conversation more about kind of your upbringing, some things that you've been through, like I would love for our audience and community to hear more about what that looked like for you, and the inspiring story of the humble beginning that led to all the success you're having now.
Yeah. So, oh man. I was born and raised in Brazil. I'm just trying to figure out where to start. It's a very long journey. I was born and raised in Brazil. Where I was actually born, that's where I experienced most of my poverty. It was from age 0 to probably 10. I used to live in a very bad place in the hills, in the favelas in Brazil, right? If you heard about it. But it was a very bad situation, and obviously as a kid you don't know much. That's your life. That's what you accept, right? And growing up, I knew for myself that like I was always so different from the other kids, because I just wanted like so much more. I wanted to like be better, and I wanted to be all these things. So being around that kind of like exposed me to kind of become like the area that I was in, and like the things that I was experiencing. So born and raised there, and then what happened was my mom actually moved to the US when I was like 7 or so. So she left the family, moved to the US. Obviously to bring us a better life, and I appreciate that. But you know, being left by your mom, like when you're 7, regardless of what she was trying to do, you know, it's a big impact. So let's go step by step. So she left. She came to the U.S., started working. Absolutely changed our life. Within like a few years, she bought a really nice house in Brazil, considered for Brazil, right? A really nice house at the beach, and so it actually like transformed my life a lot. So we moved there, and then a few years later, she was applying for our visa to come to the U.S. It was me, my sister, and my grandmother, right? So it was just gonna be me and my sister moving to the U.S. It was actually about like 15 days before we were about to move to the U.S. So my sister passed away in Brazil, and my mom was here. Obviously, she was illegal already at the moment, so she actually dropped everything, went back to Brazil without even thinking that she was here illegally. So she just went back, and that's when we spent most of our time together with my mom. Me knowing myself as a person. So went back to Brazil. We spent like 4 years together over there, and then we moved back here once she got all the paperwork situated. Move up to New York, and then spend another probably 2 years with her there. So that's the most time that I spent with my mom, knowing myself as a person, right? So probably 5 years or so. So left the house to join the Marine Corps right after high school, after I moved to the U.S. So joined the Marine Corps. Then in the Marine Corps, started finding myself a little bit, the things that I wanted to do, because obviously I joined the Marine Corps, I was like, 18 years old. So I started finding myself a little bit, got into calisthenics, and I always consider myself like an overachiever, man. So like I always wanted to do more, be better than other people. Like I'm always like a very competitive person. So I saw something in myself in calisthenics, so I went fully on that, and I actually started competing while in the Marine Corps too. I actually started competing like professionally in calisthenics. I like travel all over the U.S. to do competitions. Actually got the opportunity to go to like Dubai to compete. Won a competition out there. Got a little bit more notice, and then when I went back, you know, like it's kind of finishing off my time in the Marine Corps. And finishing up my time in the Marine Corps was kind of like when my life started changing, right? So my time in the Marine Corps, to talk about that, was rough, because like I was different from all the other kids. I was learning English, right? I was learning English, so I definitely say I got hazed a lot, I got bullied a lot in the Marine Corps and all of that. And I feel like all of that kind of drove me more, because I already knew like from a kid that I was different than other kids. Like I just wanted to. I was a very individual person, and I was called that a lot. I was a very individual person. I was called an individual, like, bro, you don't care about anyone, you just care about yourself. But at the end of the day, I just had my mindset of like what I wanted to do. And at the end of the day, I knew nobody else is gonna like understand what I was going through and my vision. And in the Marine Corps, it's all about, you know, teamwork, working well with others. And I was like, man, this is probably not my career. So I decided to, you know, get out of the Marine Corps, and that's when I started to like focus on things that would set me up for success outside of the Marine Corps. So that's when I started like posting some content. I was already posting some videos of me doing crazy flips on the bars and all that, but I started posting content that was helping people. So I started posting my workouts so I can help people do exactly what I was doing, because that's the messages that I was getting. Bro, I want to be exactly like you. Can you show me how to do this? So I started posting valuable content, right? The things that was actually going to help people. And some videos just picked up, man. And since then, it's all history. But as soon as I saw something there, and to finish it off, the story over here, as soon as I saw something there that was picking up traction, I'm the type of person that I'm like all in. As soon as I see traction, because we as humans are driven by progress, right? As soon as I see a little progress, for me, it's like freaking ecstasy, bro. Like, I go all in on it. So I went all in on that, built like 500,000 followers in like 6 months or so. And then from there, it was all up, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an incredible story, bro. And it's so cool to see how there have been so many different phases and transitions and pivotal moments in your life that have led to this point. I think a lot of people look, with social media, we have access to it. It's a huge tool and it's a blessing, but it can also be a curse when people compare themselves to other people. And it's easy to look at someone like you and be like, man, this guy has it all figured out. He's living this life. He has these followers. You know what I mean? But to hear more about your story, I think is really powerful. And I'm really thankful that people are getting to hear more about it. I want to ask you, growing up, you said you were always kind of driven. You had this mindset of wanting to achieve and wanting to do more. Where did that mindset start for you? Was that something you had early on as a kid? Was that something you developed as you were kind of dealing with kind of a difficult upbringing? Like, where in the picture for you did that mindset develop of this determination?
I think I had a specific moment where, so when I was a kid, I used to play on the streets with other kids and all that, and I always played like very competitive sports, right? And I was always the one that like nobody liked because I was just too competitive. I wanted to win in everything. I didn't like get along well with the other kids, my peers, simply because like I guess I was not that friendly. And I've always had this void of like I have to impress people so they can like me. And I really wanted people to like me, but at the end of the day, they were just not liking me because I guess I was too competitive, or like people want to see you doing good, but not better than them, So like, So as soon as like they see that you're overtaking them, or you you're shining too much, obviously people cut back. They hold back a little bit on you. So as a kid, I experienced that, but I play it off, I play it off. I was like, oh no, I'm a change, I'm a change. I'm just a kid. Like, I'm a change as an adult. I'm gonna grow up. I'm gonna learn how to make friends. But that's one thing that I can tell you, man. Like, the things that you go through as a kid don't change too much. And as going from being a kid and playing sports, going to the Marine Corps and trying to be better than everyone, going to social media, trying to be better than everyone, that don't change too much, man. That is one thing that I can tell you that I just carried that with me. I'm learning, to finish it off with that, I'm learning how to value people a lot more in the process, and I really do. I'm a lot more humble than I used to be. I used to be humble, but I just didn't know how to deal with people. I was not a people person, but I've definitely been on a journey of learning how to value people a lot more. But that's the story of. Yeah,
no, that's awesome. Would you say that those more challenging times of growing up, gave you more motivation or gave you a desire to be successful? Or do you think that's just something innately you had within you that you always wanted to succeed? Or do you think it was that struggle that kind of gave you an added just excitement to be like, I want to figure this out. I want to be successful. I want to give back. Do you think that was a part of your process?
Definitely. As growing up, I saw how much struggle I had, and as soon as it was the opportunities that I was put into that made me realize what I didn't have. So once you're put into specific opportunities, there are blessings, man, because they open up your eyes to things that you didn't have before. So when I had these opportunities, that's why I say it's a blessing to have had a rough upbringing, because you really know what it's back there. And I guess my motivation and motivated me the most was I never want to go back there. I never want to feel that way anymore. So I'm constantly pushing myself forward, because even if it is the person from last week, I never want to be that person anymore. And it's the same thing as from years ago. I never want to be that kid, but the same thing, you got to look at your life today and you got to say the same thing. I never want to be the person that I was last week, but today I'm better,
Dude, I resonate with that so much. I'm so glad you said that. The reason that you and I are sitting here today on this podcast is because of the rough upbringing I had. Without going through the things I did with my dad being addicted to drugs and alcohol, and seeing just someone with so much potential just waste it. And seeing how hard my mom had to work to make sure that we had an opportunity. Without, like you said, bro, I don't wish it upon anyone. But if you're someone who's going through a tough season, or you had a rough childhood, or you've been through something, use it to your advantage. Use it to make you stronger. Use it to make an impact. Use it to become the best version you can be, because like you said, those are times I don't want to ever relive, and I don't want other people to. And that's why I'm so encouraged to do this podcast and bring people like on the show like you who can share your story, and hopefully that encourages people to keep going.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, absolutely. I do believe that everyone has a story, and it is very important to share that, because you never know what other people are going through. And especially having a huge following like I have, I know that I don't value myself that much, but I do know that like I have a story that probably resonate with a lot of people. And that was the promise that I made for myself at the beginning of the year. I was like, I want to share more. I want to relate more. And I feel like these platforms these days, we get very caught up on like the clout and like likes and views and all of that. But not a lot of people stop to realize that like you first started this to share your journey. It was not to grow. It was to share your journey and to relate to other people. And like this year, I really set my mind into like I'm gonna try to relate a little bit more to my audience, because at the end of the day, man, getting to 2 million followers, it feels good. But at the end of the day, bro, I swear this, I don't mean it to make myself look better in any way.
Sure.
Getting 2 million followers, it's no different, bro. Like it makes you no different than anyone else. Like I'm the same person. So for me, I really realize these days that it's more about the relations that you're building, how much these people actually count on you, how much these people actually look up to you and actually connect with you in there. So sometimes I message someone and that, you know, comment on my stuff, or like 2 comments, right? I'm actually messaging now. I'm like, bro, thank you so much for that comment. Let me know if I can help you with anything. People like,
he's real.
Coach Blue just messaged. I'm like, bro, seriously, like I'm just like you. Like seriously, social media doesn't make you different. You just elevate what you already are. Yeah.
I like how you put that. I want to talk to you about your decision to join the Marines. I think that's obviously a big decision. That's something that you probably didn't take lightly. What went into that decision? What kind of factors or motivations kind of led you to making that step?
Yeah, that's gonna go back into my personality and like my vision and my dreams again, man. Getting out of high school, I wanted to try to put this into simple words. I wanted to take the fastest route for me to have freedom. I've grew up and wanting to like, for me to put into like very clear perspective is I used to literally lay in bed and think about myself having my own car and just driving in this road, and like that is freedom for me, right? I have my own car. Like having my own car was like, that's complete freedom. I can go anywhere that I want, because growing up, like I didn't have anything. So I was like, I have my own car. I can go anywhere that I want. So like that just stuck to my head. And like, I was like, as you can see, you were asking about my book today. Like I really love studying, but I just didn't want to go to college right away, simply because I knew that was going to take a little bit longer for me to get to my dream of like having my own things, my own experiences, and growing up a little bit faster. So I feel like that was the biggest reason and the only reason why I joined. I wanted freedom right away.
And you talk about there was obviously some difficulty. Like when you first got in, you said, there was the language, difficulties and challenges, and I'm sure there were some other things. Like, what was that process like? Like you had this vision of wanting freedom. You think this is your best path forward, getting that, but you actually step into this phase of your life. Like what were some of the things that you kind of had to deal with as you're doing this, and like what did that look like for you?
In the Marine Corps?
Yeah, stepping into that.
Okay. So joining the Marine Corps, obviously I was hyped about the whole having my own thing and freedom and all of that, but it was definitely a shock getting in there and having to work with all of these people who was not on the same page that I was. There's a lot of foreigners in the military, but like when I say we really do get treated a little bit differently, we really do, and it's not saying anything bad about it. It's just that there's a lot of bullies, man, especially in the Marine Corps. You're supposed to be hard. You're supposed to be tough and have like tough skin and just be able to take things. But like for me, you was just like, I was revisiting high school again, because like in high school people made fun of me for like having an accent and, you know, like being a little bit different, and I was already like a kid that didn't want to have that many friends. I just wanted to do my own thing. So joining the Marine Corps and going into that was my biggest struggle, just like dealing with people, the communication, like not really the communication and all that, man. I really like put a lot of effort into being like a good person, but I feel like he wasn't a good person for being in the Marine Corps, simply because like I had to be a part of like a group. I had to like working team and all of that. So I wasn't shining as much as I could. But like in all other aspects of like performance and all of that, the physical aspect, I aced everything and it was pretty good. But my biggest challenge was just like dealing with other people. Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. And you talk about when you joined, that's when you started to get into calisthenics. That's when you started to like explore that while you were in the Marines. Mm-hmm. Is that the first kind of exposure or entrance you had to fitness was through the Marines, or were you training and doing fitness in high school as well?
Right when I moved to the U.S., I started doing calisthenics. So that was 2 years before I joined the Marine Corps. I started going to the park by my house and just started busting some pull-ups. How this guy started teaching me a little bit, and from there I just picked up the passion. And then joining the Marine Corps, a lot of things was put on pause, but the good thing about it was just that the fitness aspect was very valued in the Marine Corps, so that's why I was able to shine a little bit more in the Marine Corps. But yeah, I had a little bit of background before I joined the Marine Corps, but like once I joined the Marine Corps is when I started taking a little bit more serious, because once again I wanted to like show that I was really good at sports and stuff like that.
For sure. And in the Marine Corps, obviously you were doing stuff outside on your own, you were competing, but like what was training like in the Marine Corps at that time for you? Like what were you guys doing from a training perspective?
Oh yeah. So that's one thing that made me realize that I didn't want to be in the Marine Corps, simply because like my job was very demanding, man. So a lot of people think that like I was like we call it pogues. Pogues are like you have like a desk job. Because there's a lot of desk jobs in the Marine Corps. Like, people think that Marines are actually, like, doing badass stuff. Depends on your job, bro. But I actually had a combat job. So, like, my job was AVs, amphibious assault vehicles. So, think about a tank that goes in the water. We call it tank boats.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, a tank that goes in the water. We carry a Mark 19 grenade launcher and a 50 cal. So, it's a pretty damn badass job. So, the thing is, we are always in the field. You know what the field is? The field is like we are always doing these operations with different companies, right? So our job is to take the grunts, from ship to shore. Mm-hmm. So that's our job. So we support every single grunt unit. So we are always doing different operations in the field and all of that. So time off for me, and the freedom that I was talking about, it was not a thing at all, man. Yeah. So I was always working, always under the influence of Marines, man.
And then in terms of like the actual like workouts you had to do, like what did those look like? Were they mostly calisthenic based, like body weight, or did you guys mix in weight training? Like how did you guys actually physically train?
So we have PT in the morning. Almost every single morning we have PT. If we are not in the field, we are back home. Then we have PT every single morning. But the PT for me was a joke, man. Obviously, like it's not to say bad, but like most Marines, man, they're not in shape. To be honest with you, like most Marines are there. There is some badass Marines, but like most of the Marines, and this is not to shit on anyone, but like what Marines like doing is on the free time is drinking and playing music. Seriously, I was surrounded by that 24/7. And that's why I didn't fit in, because I was never with them. Bro, when are we gonna get Dasilva to drink with us, bro? Like he's never gonna come out. I was like, yeah, you right. I'm never gonna come out, bro. I'm enjoying myself. But that's all Marines do. So the PT sessions were extremely easy, bro. They're doing like sit-ups and like trying to do push-ups and like trying to go for a run, and everybody's throwing up and falling off. And at the end of the day, I'm over here running 15, 30, 3 miles, right? So like I was I was definitely a PT stud, so that the Marine Corps training for me was nothing.
Now, you obviously, like, people that follow your content, people that are familiar with your current brand and what you do, like, they look at your content and they're like, dude, this guy's huge, he's jacked, he's got like the build of a bodybuilder, but he's very functional, he can do backflips, he can do muscle up, explosive muscle ups, all this crazy stuff. Were you doing that kind of stuff while you were in the Marines, or is that a more recent thing that you've like kind of developed and figured out?
So yeah, I should first start by saying, like, I get a lot of comments saying that, like, and people reposting my stuff. Look at this. Imagine joining the Marine Corps. This is what they do.
It's not like that.
No. Marines can barely do push-ups, bro. Like, I am a different nature, man. Like, the stuff that I do, I competed professionally in calisthenics. So I spent years, like, getting used to, like, building my body weight strength. So I have complete control of my body weight, bro. So, like, that's why I do flips. I do all that. I'm from Brazil, too. I used to do flips at the beach and all of that. So my background and the amount of effort and time that I've put into perfecting my body weight strength is extreme. So that's the route that I chose.
Yeah, for sure. So you were doing calisthenics first, and then at what point did you say, I'm going to shift and start doing bodybuilding? Because you've competed in shows as well, right? Is that something you did post calisthenic career? Gotcha. Yeah.
So right before I was getting out of the Marine Corps, it was about, I think it was about 6 months before I got out of the Marine Corps, I met my ex. We were like together for 3 years, and she was into bodybuilding. So she was the one that actually got me into lifting weights and all of that. So that's when I started lifting weights, man.
I got you. So she kind of got you into it?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it though once you got into it? Like, was it something that you kind of personally kind of got attached to, or was it always just kind of through her that you...
Like I told you, man, I'm someone that as soon as I see progress in something, I go like fully on it. So it was about 2.5 years ago. I was 150, bro. I was 150 pounds. I'm 212 now. So like I'm that person that, like, as soon as I see an opening and I see an opportunity, I will take it. And like with anything else, just like I did with calisthenics, I aced it, bro. Like I literally took the game. Like I took it all the way up as much as I could, obviously, but like all the way up for myself and for my limitations.
I love that mindset, man. I think it's super powerful. And now with the social media component, when did that start for you? Was this something you were doing while you were still in the Marines, or was this post? Like, how did you kind of start your integration with content and putting yourself out there on social?
Yeah, so, man, that's why I say I'm so blessed, bro, because like I feel like everything came at the right timing, right? So the social media thing started right before I got out. And it started as like, let me just help people out. Didn't think of making any money of it or anything like that. So right before I got out, I started posting some videos picked up some traction, and my first brand deal reached out to me, and they were actually willing to pay me on a monthly basis. So right before I got out, I was going to go to school. I was going to use my GI Bill, and then right before I got out, I got the opportunity and started like seeing a little bit more, you know, of like what this could possibly be. So transitioning out of the Marine Corps, I got my first brand deal, and then I got my second brand deal with Celicor and C4, and started working with them. And I was just mind blown. I was like, everything happens for a reason, man. I was about to go to school and all that, which I still went to school, but at the same time I was posting content. I was making a little bit of money on the side. So everything happened at the right freaking time. I mean, for me, man, it was mind blowing.
Was there ever a point where you had like this distinct moment of like shift in perspective or mindset of like, okay, this actually might work out? Or like, did you always kind of know it was going to happen in terms of like social media, like seeing where this could all lead? Because obviously when you started, maybe you did, but maybe you didn't have like a full understanding of like the opportunity here with brand deals and following. And now obviously we'll touch on it in a second, but your coaching business, like, did you kind of have all that at the beginning of starting social media, or was there like a distinct moment where you're like, you realized it and just saw that opportunity?
No, man, like I told you, it comes back to me like not believing myself this entire time up until probably a few months ago. I wasn't selling anything online. Like I wasn't, like my purpose it's not to sell anything online. Like I want to inspire people. Till this day, I don't want to sell many things. Like I do online coaching, which I'm helping people. I'm literally transforming lives. So in there, you're not talking to anyone else. You're talking to me. Your communication is with me. It's one-on-one freaking coaching. I am absolutely changing your life. So I didn't see an opportunity as to like make money off of it. I wanted to inspire. I wanted to be a name. I wanted to make a name for myself because I know where I came from. I was like, let me see how far I can take this. But I've never saw this coming. 2 million followers, like I told you, I never saw this coming. I didn't see any of this coming. And I still don't see it coming. I still don't know what the hell's going on.
Dude, I just applaud you, bro. I love when I see and just come across people who are genuinely passionate about helping people. Before we started recording this episode, I was getting everything set up, and you were literally sending a 3+ minute long video to a client, helping them, walking them through things, encouraging them, uplifting them. It wasn't just like the actual knowledge you're pouring into them, but you were giving them inspiration and encouragement to like keep going. Like that to me, like getting to see that firsthand, and that was completely organic and raw. Like that was just what you had to do. It was really cool, man. And it's cool to see how you're doing that on a one-on-one basis, but also with your content and your reach, you're so able to, impact millions of people in addition to the people you're closely touching as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing I'm realizing the most, and I've touched a little bit on it, is that every life matters, bro. So like everyone that you come in contact with matters. And I don't sell coaching. I don't sell the knowledge, bro. Like obviously people don't know how to work out, so I'm gonna guide them through the process. What I am putting out there is the implementation, right? And what do clients need? What do people, human beings, like we're human beings. Yeah. What do you need? You need motivation, bro. Like what do you struggle with, right? Like you're probably struggling with time and all of that. So you have to understand each specific person and talk to them as a human, because that's what we go through. Now, when you sit there and talk to people as a number, just another revenue of income, it's not going to work the same way. You're not going to transform lives. And as I say always on my story and all of that, motivators, I'm here to inspire and motivate. That's it. Like that's what I am. Like that's what I am. I'm here to inspire and motivate, and I'm never going to back off from that. Yeah. So like my main goal with all of my clients, I spend a lot of time. That's why I don't take that many clients. It's simply because I spend a lot of time with developing the mental aspect, because fitness and their progress is only going to be accomplished if they have the mindset. So that's what we work on the most.
I love that, man. And in your bio, I was curious to hear your take on this. Like I have a general understanding of fitness and training, but like you've done this like legit. You've studied this. This is something you're really passionate about. Yeah. And obviously for people listening, I think this could be valuable to hear. You touch these clients in a very customized, personalized way. Like you're helping them with their own individual needs, but you talk about helping people build muscle and lose weight at the same time, or lose fat. Yeah. What, you don't have to go super detailed here unless you want to, but like what kind of goes into that process for someone who's looking to accomplish that goal?
Yeah, absolutely. So when someone comes to me, like they might have these goals of building muscle and burning fat, which is everyone, right? But at the end of the day, what every single person wants, bro, is to be a badass. Every single person that wants to, that comes to my page and goes through the process of starting to follow me, starting to get used to me, starting to trust me, and wanting to be coached by me, that person wants to be like me. So as soon as I start someone in my one-on-one coaching experience, because it's not a program, it's an experience, it's a relationship that you're building with your clients, that's something that we're going to be working on a daily basis, right? So what was the question? Sorry again.
Yeah, no, I was asking you, obviously people have different goals, but the kind of tagline you have in your bio is, how do you increase muscle, but also lose fat? How do you go about that process? What are some of the key factors that people need to be aware of if they are trying to get that desired outcome?
Perfect. So a lot of coaches get this wrong, man. And I hope that we're not putting out information out there simply because you want to sell and make money, okay? Losing fat and building muscle is very simple, but it's not easy, okay? So the implementation is very freaking simple, okay? And you can absolutely build muscle and burn fat at the same time. We call that body recomposition, okay? What happens if you want to lose weight, which is most of my clients? you get them into a calorie deficit. And all you have to know, and I know there's so many information out there, get all of it out of your head forever. If I'm the person telling you, like, that will change your mind about that, this is all you have to know. Get into a calorie deficit, which is burn more calories than you consume in a day. That is simply all that you have to do to lose body fat, okay? There's no losing the gut first, losing fat over here. That's called a spotting fat loss. You can't spot fat loss, right? All you have to do is get into a calorie deficit. That means moving more and eating less, right? That means your energy expenditure, right? You're burning more than you're consuming. Then you start losing the fat. Now, obviously, we play with the macronutrients. As long as you're eating enough protein in the process of burning fat, obviously that goes with your body weight, how much body mass you have, like muscle mass, lean muscle mass you have. If you play around with the macronutrients and the protein intake, you're going to be able to build muscle in the process, as long as you are not like in an extreme calorie deficit.
What's like a good ballpark range of like how much of a deficit should you be in ideally? Like what's a healthy range?
About 500 calories. That's already a lot. Okay. 500 calories, it's a lot. It's simply because people want to see changes from day to night, and that's when you're going to lose muscle in the process, and you're not going to be building any muscle. So if you are trusting of your coach and you understand that your coach knows what he's doing, which, like, whenever I get a client with me, man, most of my clients got a little bit excess body fat, right? Even if they're not fat, like, you know, obese or extremely overweight, they got a little bit excess body fat. So what I try to do is bring body conditioning down, bring body fat down first, so then we can do a reverse diet from there. Now you're powerful. Now we're talking about building a lot of muscle, like, really fast. So burn the fat first, man. Your body's gonna be extremely sensitive to any food that you put in once you are like at a lower body fat percentage. From there, your body's gonna absorb everything. So what you do is slowly start increasing your calories and start playing around with the macronutrients, increasing your protein. The sky's the limit, and from there, yeah.
Roughly on average, how much protein should someone be taking or eating a day if they're trying to accomplish this goal?
0.8 to like 1.2. I even do like 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight, right? So if someone is like, how much do you weigh?
Personally, I weigh floating around 200 pounds. Okay,
200 pounds, pretty lean and all of that. But like if you were trying to get leaner, I'll start you, like, because you're 200 pounds and you mostly muscle, to be honest, bro, you can even go up to like 230, 240 grams of protein per day.
Yeah.
And then from there you play around with your carbs and fats. Fats, we try to keep it at a certain range. You never go under a certain fat per day, simply because fats regulate our hormones and we don't want to play with that.
Yeah.
As soon as you mess up your hormones, everything's going to go out of whack. Your progress is going to slow down. So start someone with a little bit over their body mass weight of, you know, grams of protein, and then play around with how much you can give them for carbs, you know. And from there, you also got to judge how many calories they should be intaking, you know, because someone could be intaking 250 grams of protein per day, but then, you know, if you give them 250 grams of protein per day, given that their goal is to lose weight, now you have no more calories to give them on carbs and fats, you know what I'm saying? So you got to kind of play around a little bit with it.
Yeah, no, that's super helpful. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of on the nutrition side. So on the flip side of the training, mm-hmm. what does that program kind of look like, or, you know, relatively entail? Is it lifting super heavy? Is it hypertrophy, like more time under tension muscle mass, or is it kind of a combination with HIIT workouts? Like, how do you kind of structure the training side of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Training for everyone is different, but at the end of the day, we're going to be building muscle, right? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to build your plan based on what you have available, right? If you want to go to the gym, that's what I suggest always. But if you don't have a gym, we can build you a program from home, or you can build yourself a program from home. But what's going to happen, it's always the same thing. We're trying to put the muscle under more tension than he has previously experienced, right? So if someone is at home and only have like 25 pounds dumbbells, trust me, I'm still going to put you through the same work, but we're probably going to be doing a little bit more time under tension and a little bit more reps to get the same a stimuli that you would from like a leg press or something like that, you know. So that's how you build someone's program. But the program is very simple, man. You might think that you have to do all this crazy exercises that you see me doing online, but you really don't. Like you can elevate to that, but you really don't have to do that. You got to keep it simple to get the best results. But you know, what matters the most is making sure that you update someone's plan according to what makes sense to them and what works for them, you know. So that's when the one-on-one coaching work comes into play, right? Yep. Because you have to do weekly updates, because you can give someone a program this week and then comes next week, hey bro, this is not really working for me. So that's why I take a look at the pictures, I see how their body's responding, how much they are changing, and from there you make updates to the plan, man. You have to go week by week and making sure that you are visually seeing the results and what's actually going on with someone's body, and then that's how you update the plan.
That's awesome, man. I really appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
You kind of joked about it. You said, you don't have to be doing the workouts I'm doing or the exercise I'm doing. But I'd love to know if you're open to sharing, like, how do you personally train? Yeah. And as much as you want to share, I know you do some really crazy stuff on social media, but is that kind of how you're always training? Or, do you sometimes just make a fun video to encourage and inspire, but also you kind of have your own system? Like, how do you kind of go about your own training?
Yeah, I have to be very... Like, I don't open up about this too much on social media simply because, like, people just take it the wrong way. But, like, how I train is not what you see on social media. And I hate to say that. But I train to build muscle. At the end of the day, I'm going to be completely transparent over here, bro. Like,
wait, you like building muscle?
Huh? So, I'm going to be completely transparent, man. What you see on social media, I'm there to inspire and motivate. And obviously, I do some of these workouts, and I do them, and I record them because it's helping me be more functional and burn more calories, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the end of the day, bro, I train bodybuilding style. Very simple, very basic, time under tension, heavy freaking weights, suffer, and grow, right? That's how I train. My workouts that I post online, you should understand that those workouts, they're not bullshit, but at the same time, like, they're not for everyone.
Yeah.
I have many people that send me a message, bro, I just did your shoulder workout, and they're sore as hell. Like, that wouldn't happen for me. Obviously, I wouldn't put someone who's advanced doing my workouts.
Right.
But, someone who's a beginner, those workouts are freaking killer, bro. And I post those workouts because people like varieties. They like different stuff. And trust me, I'm not posting anything out there for you to hurt yourself. I'm just out there to inspire and motivate and maybe, trigger something in your brain to, like, get your ass to the gym. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I train very basically. I train to look really good when I'm doing those videos.
Yeah, I love it. So obviously you're personally doing a lot of bodybuilding right now. You're just growing muscle, getting stronger. But you also talk about still being functional. So what kind of goes into a functional bodybuilder? I know you talk about, like, kind of the way you've been training, but I think it's kind of a relevant thing right now. You see, like, guys, Marcus Philly, different people who really, like, honed in on this sector of fitness. That's like, yeah, I want to be jacked, but I want to be able to I want to be functional. Like, I want my core to actually be engaged and not just look ripped, but actually, like, help me with my balance, my form. Like, so what kind of goes into that? Do you do anything, like, on the side to stay functional outside of the content you make?
Yeah, man. Basically, all of my videos that you see, it's kind of like what keeps me functional. And I'm not just over there, like, some videos do go that way where we kind of just go in there to film and we shoot, like, one video and then just leave. But a lot of times when I'm filming by myself, I actually do a few sets of those. I actually go through the process. But staying functional while you being big, it's all your option. I swear. Like, all these calisthenics athletes telling me, I don't want to start lifting weights because I don't want to lose my functionality. Yeah. I don't want to get too big and not be functional. You're full of crap, man. Like, you have no idea what you're doing, because the bigger I got, the stronger I got in calisthenics. The only reason I lost a lot of my moves is simply because I stopped practicing them. And you still see me flying on the bars and all of it. And I barely practice that. That goes to show you that, like, bro, you can absolutely do both. One of my goals, like, on social media was just to break that. I literally started doing bodybuilding and like pushing my content out there to prove people that you can do both at the same time. You can be big, you can be functional, you can be an athlete, right? That's why I started posting like both worlds. And yeah, man, you just got to keep up with everything. Obviously, you're gonna have to stretch a little bit more. A lot of bodybuilders, they don't want to run. I try to run. I love running in the morning and kind of do the crazy workouts, man. Work on your core. Your core is the most important thing.
I was gonna ask you, you touched on, but you do a lot of stretching, or you do some level of stretching as well?
I do some stretching, not as much as I should, but I definitely do some stretching simply because as I get bigger and bigger, I'm pushing heavy weights every single day. It's definitely tightening up my body, so I'm constantly trying to loosen it up.
Sure. And then if you're cool touching on it, like what does your diet look like? What are some of your go-to meals? How do you kind of go about your personal diet? What does that look like?
Very basic and very like routine, to be honest. And it's not because like I am strictly like I can't change my diet or I can't eat anything else, because I can eat whatever I want. I follow macros, man. I can eat whatever I want. I ate ice cream last night. Obviously, like the lower calorie ice cream, like the Halo Top style ice cream. So there's like 15 fats per container. I believe it's like 70 carbs and some protein in it. I eat ice cream, man. I make homemade pizzas and all of that. But my daily diet is very simple, man. And I love like breakfast sandwich. So I make like egg whites, eggs, and to touch on that, but like a lot of people don't know that the reason why people do egg whites and eggs is simply because the full egg, the yolk, has a lot of fats. And if you try to keep your fats, if you count your macros, you try to keep your fats under a certain number. So that's why you do probably like half and half eggs, half egg whites. It's the same thing. It's all eggs, right? But you're getting a little bit less fats. Like egg whites, eggs with like sourdough bread. Sourdough bread it's a little bit better for your digestion. It's gonna digest a little bit better. Pre-workout is usually like, you know, some protein yogurt with like some cereal. You want to get some carbs in there, mostly carbs, so you can get a better pump. You're trying to fuel your workout, and that's how I eat. I eat to fuel my training, to be honest. Post-workout is usually like a rice meal with chicken, or my preferred method of like protein. Sometimes I do ground turkey, ground chicken, or regular chicken. And then I start going into the nighttime. Sometimes I make another sandwich, man, with like deli stuff, or like a chicken sandwich. Sometimes I make a pasta meal, right? It all depends. I'm counting my macros. I'm hitting the same macros every single day, bro. And then at nighttime, sometimes I even have ice cream and all of that. As long as it fit my macro, I'm okay with that. And I know how to exchange the energy. It's about energy expenditure, right? How much you put in, you have to put out a little bit more to stay as lean as you are. So I know how to play with that really well.
It's awesome. And then in terms of supplements, like, are there anything that you like take that's out of the ordinary? I'm sure probably protein powder, but like, are there any other supplements that are kind of in your routine that you think are relevant?
Big misconceptions that you every single one of my clients asks, do I need to be taking protein powder? People think that when you start working out, you have to take protein powder. Protein powder is called, what is it called again? A supplement, right?
Supplement, yeah.
What does the word supplement means? To supplement your diet. Protein powder is protein. What is protein? Your chicken, your ground beef, your ground turkey. That's all your protein. You supplement with protein powders if you're not getting enough meats, proteins, eggs throughout your day, right? So that's the only way sometimes I make smoothies, because I have my protein intake for the day. But the other supplements I take is creatine, glutamine, and then I put into my cup with BCAAs. Take it into my workout, just sip on it. But those are basically all the supplements that I take.
That's awesome, man. This has been, dude, such an incredible episode. I really enjoyed hearing your story and all the value you've brought. What is, like, moving forward as you're stepping into this, like, you know, wrapping up the year strong and getting ready for 24? Like, do you have any particular projects or things that you're, like, goals you're personally focused on or excited about?
Yeah. I want to continue building myself, to be honest, man. I feel like I've been on a journey of building others up for a very long time, but I want to continue being on this journey of building myself, because A lot of people see the hype right now going on Instagram, but I'm actually going through the hardest moment in my life, to be honest. We don't have to touch on it too much, but like I recently went through a breakup. So I'm actually right now at the hardest moment that I ever been in my life, and like losing someone that you been with, you know, this whole time. And like I told you, I don't have any friends. So I actually lost that. I lost my only friend that I had. You know what I'm saying? So like going through that, I just hit 2 million today. Or yesterday, I was like, wow, 2 million followers, bro. That's cool. I got no friends.
I'm your friend.
Well, there you go. But yeah, man. And I feel like I should leave people with something. That there is a lesson over there, man. There is a lesson that I've been battling all these days with. Is that like, as long as you can continue doing what you're supposed to do through your roughest time, bro, when you pick yourself back up, bro, you are unstoppable, man. I swear to God. I'm such an ambitious person. So I can already picture myself getting out of this and the mindset that I'm currently on and skyrocketing, man. It's gonna be ups and downs, man. It's gonna be ups and downs, and I promise you that. That's such a cliche thing to say, but it's really true. Just like Instagram, right? You have the ups and you have the downs, right? But I was actually telling one of my friends the other day that does social media as well. I was like, bro, what's going on your page right now? You're not growing that much, right? And he's like, yeah, bro, I don't know what the hell is going on. Like, it's George Banford, right? He's got like almost 2 million followers, about 1.9. And why not posting more, bro? He was like, bro, like my page is not working that much. Like it's not picking up traction. And I was like, that's why, bro. Because when you are down here, you think that you have to decrease the level of content that you push, or decrease the intensity that you put into your stuff. You know, the same thing with life, right? I'm down here now, but you don't see that because I'm still pushing. I'm still doing the things that I'm supposed to do. As long as you do that, bro, I promise you that you're gonna fucking be successful. You're gonna be rich, or whatever your goals are, bro. As long as you keep pushing through with the same intensity when you're down here, bro, when you're up here, you're gonna skyrocket.
Bro, that's such a powerful lesson to leave this episode with, man. I think it's so true, and there's so many people that can get discouraged, and I'm hopeful that this conversation can give them that confidence and that inspiration they need to get through that, man. Because it's hard, and it's hard to do it on your own, like you touched on. Like if you don't have people in your corner, you know, helping you out, it can be way more challenging. But I really love your mindset and your take on your perspective, bro, because it's so powerful, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Well, dude, this has been such a fun episode. I'm personally inspired and encouraged by everything you're doing, man. And I know the people listening are going to be so grateful that you came on the show. But I just want to personally say thank you so much for doing this, man. It's been fun to hear your story. And, man, God bless you, bro. This has been great.
Absolutely, bro. Thank you so much, man.
Absolutely, dude. This is dope. That.